What's that one family secret you were never supposed to find out? I was 14 when Dad started dating Regina. Mom had been institutionalized for a mental breakdown at work 4 weeks ago. She was apparently just typing at her computer when suddenly she started going crazy, hitting her coworkers, smashing monitors, and even assaulted her boss, Regina. She was supposedly taken to the hospital, diagnosed with schizoactive disorder, and placed on a 180-day hold. Regina showed up with a casserole and a sympathetic smile just 2 days later. Dad invited her in, and she never really left. At first, it was just dinners where she'd check on us and make sure we were okay. Then she started bringing groceries and helping with homework. Dad kept saying how generous she was to forgive Mom for attacking her. The thing that bothered me most was how happy Dad seemed. Not relieved that someone was helping. Happy. He'd laugh at Regina's jokes and they'd stay up talking after sending me to bed. When I asked about visiting Mom, he'd get this tight look on his face and say she wasn't ready for visitors yet. Regina moved fast. Within 2 months, she had a drawer at our house and was picking me up from school. She'd take me for ice cream and ask questions about Mom. Did she seem stressed before? Did she ever act strange at home? I kept saying no, but Regina would pat my hand and tell me it was okay to admit Mom had problems. The breaking point came the day before Mom was supposed to be released. I knew because I'd been counting down on the calendar in my room. That morning, Dad announced we were going on a surprise weekend trip to a cabin Regina's family owned. My stomach dropped. I told him I didn't want to go, but he said I was being ungrateful. Regina had planned this whole thing for us. We fought the entire car ride up. I kept asking why we had to leave today specifically, and Dad kept deflecting. Regina sat in the passenger seat filing her nails and occasionally murmuring about how this was best for everyone. When we got to the cabin, I locked myself in a bedroom and refused to come out. That night, I heard them arguing through the walls. Regina was saying something about paperwork, and Dad was worried about something being suspicious. I pressed my ear against the door and heard Regina say the words that made my blood run cold. She signed the divorce papers, Mark. We can move forward now. I snuck into the living room after they went to bed and found Regina's purse. Inside was a folder with copies of divorce documents dated 3 days ago. Mom's signature was on them, but something looked off. I'd seen Mom sign permission slips 1,000 times, and this wasn't how she wrote her name. There was also a receipt from a notary service in Regina's name and a business card for a family lawyer with Regina's maiden name. Turns out, Regina's brother was a lawyer who specialized in divorce cases. The pieces started clicking together in my head, and I felt sick. I took photos of everything with the digital camera I got for my birthday and hid it in my backpack. The next morning, I told Dad I wanted to go home. He said we were staying the full weekend, but I threw such a fit that Regina finally convinced him to take me back. As soon as we got home, I called my Aunt Sarah from the house phone. She hadn't heard from Mom since the breakdown and was shocked when I told her about the divorce papers. She said she was coming over immediately and told me to pack a bag. The confrontation was brutal. Aunt Sarah showed up with my uncle who was a cop and demanded to see Mom. Dad tried to say she was still too sick, but Sarah threatened to call the hospital directly. Regina's face went white and she suddenly had somewhere urgent to be. We drove to the psychiatric facility where I finally saw Mom after 6 months. She was sitting in a gray room looking like a ghost of herself. Her words came out slow and slurred from all the medication. She kept trying to focus on my face, but her eyes wouldn't stay still. When she saw Aunt Sarah, she started crying and tried to explain that she never signed anything. She could barely hold a pen with how much her hands shook. Before I knew it, she was telling us how her violent breakdown at work never even happened. Regina had just approached her and told her to come with her. Full story on channel, linked below.